I'm going to show you how I'm building my goalkeeper brand, PrimeGK. Make sure to watch till the end where I reveal the most important part of creating a brand. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So the first step, of course, is what I'm actually gonna do. So I've actually tried things like copywriting before, but that didn't really work. I wanted to have a business. I didn't want to have to rely on other people to hire me. And the other thing is with a business, you could scale that to millions and maybe even billions. While I do something that I actually care about, I wanted to do something that I really did love. So I started brainstorming. I brainstormed about anything involving the gym, wrestling, soccer, but none of them really stuck out to me, except for soccer, specifically goalkeeper related. Not only is this scalable, but the competition is actually quite low because most soccer companies focus on strikers, midfielders, and defenders. They always seem out to leave out the goalies. And I'm a goalie and I don't really like that. So I decided that this was the perfect niche to work in. I could create products for goalkeepers who typically don't have much of a variety. And this idea really seemed to stick out to me. It really seemed like the best idea by far. So the next step after figuring out what I kind of want to do is what the product I actually want to sell is, which the most obvious answer is obviously gloves. So I decided to start there. I ran with it and I got to the next step, which is researching. So now that I have the idea, the next step for me is research. And to me, the most important part by far for this glove is making sure that it's the absolute best quality that it could be. I don't want to take any shortcuts. I don't want anything to be less ideal than what it could have been. And I don't care how much it'll cost. I just want it to be of the absolute best quality. So naturally, I started researching. I would research about what the best palm material was, what the best backhand material was, what the best cut was. I even started looking at competitors and seeing what they were doing, and I did not stop researching until I knew I had all of the best materials, all the best parts, everything that I needed to really create the most ideal glove. And that's when I moved on to the next step. And just keep in mind, I'm kind of going through all this very quickly, but it really will take you a lot of time. I didn't take any shortcuts, neither should you, because that will lead to having worse quality. So although this sounds quick, this sounds easy, it's really not. You really have to do your due diligence. Okay, so now I have the knowledge, which is great, but that doesn't mean anything if I can't actually take action. So what I have to do is I have to get a sample first and I have to start prototyping, making sure that what I have actually works and it's not just gonna be a completely terrible glove. So before I do that, I have three things I have to do first. First, I have to create a spec sheet, which is pretty much a sheet that tells the manufacturer everything they need to know in order to produce the best glove possible. Second, I needed to create a sketch. And of course, I had to find a manufacturer that could actually create my gloves. All right, first things first, the spec sheet. The spec sheet was actually pretty easy because I already had the materials, I already had the cut, I already had everything I needed. I just needed to put it into a format and I just used ChatGPT, I'm not gonna lie. Don't worry, that doesn't mean the gloves are gonna be of any worse quality. It still says the same thing, it's just ChatGPT puts in a format almost immediately that the manufacturers can understand. And now this was the easiest part, which was the sketch. Just pay someone to do it. It is way easier. They'll do a great job and you don't have to spend any of your time learning how to sketch or doing whatever, because it's probably gonna suck. So just pay someone, they'll do it, and then you have to find a manufacturer. I've actually already found a manufacturer, Tata Pack Industry. I don't know, there's a lot of stuff going on here, as you can see. They do goalie gloves, but most importantly is that they do custom goalie gloves, which is exactly what I want to do. And we have actually pretty much worked everything out, and it really does look like I'm going to be working with these guys. But first we have to figure out the payment plan. I have to pay them, and then in about 2 weeks from now I should be getting the glove, which is going to be super exciting. Hopefully it's not terrible. Let's see how it goes. But first, before we get to that glove, I have to tell you the most important part of building a brand. Something you have to realize is that no matter how good your product is, it means nothing. It won't get any sales, even if it's the best product in the world, if you have no marketing. Marketing really is the most important part of building a brand, because it doesn't matter how good your product is. If you have a really good product and a really shitty marketing, you're never gonna sell that product. If you have a really shitty product and really good marketing, even though you shouldn't, you're gonna sell a ton of that product. And maybe it's seen as overrated, but you're still making sales. You're way richer than the guy who has a really good product and no marketing. So you really do have to market. Now how you do that is you just post consistently on the most popular platforms, that being Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Those are really the three main platforms. You can also do Snapchat Spotlight, but like, who watches that? Nobody actually watches that. But the point is that you need as many people as you can to watch your videos. With that being said, I've been making a bunch of very short, like 6-second videos of just me catching, side volleying, talking about goalie stuff, posting game highlights, doing stuff to attract my audience, doing stuff that would attract an audience that is mainly soccer players and goalkeepers. Of course, I'm still very new to this, so I haven't been getting too many views. So far on YouTube, I have like 15,000 views out of like 14 videos. And on Instagram, it's only like 500 views. On TikTok, it's around the same, maybe a little less. But as my video quality starts to increase, as I gain more followers, those views and those likes should be going up. So I get more exposure, and eventually it leads to more sales. So that's about it. It's kind of quick. I kind of went quickly through everything. I didn't really go into the super nitty gritty of everything because that would be a little boring, let's not lie. I kind of went on a rant, but really marketing is so important. It's all that I've been thinking about. How can I market this as much as possible? Because exposure is super important. If you don't have any exposure, you don't have anything. You have nothing. So if you're ever thinking of starting a brand, remember that marketing is super, super important. And with that being said, we're getting our sample soon. Let's fucking go. And I'll see you in the next episode. Adios.